Welcome to the Ames District Board meeting, Wednesday, November 12th. If you'd please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you. Before I even go into the approval of agenda, I just want to call out, we had our last beam placed this morning on the Student and Health Center, Wellness Center. And I just want to say a huge thank you to the teams that put that together. You guys did a great job, and it's always fun to see the progress. And everybody said, "Are you moving in January?" So Mike, I don't know where you are, but you got some work to do. But thank you. That was a nice event this morning. And with that, I will ask for a motion to approve the agenda. All those in favor say aye. Thank you. Consent agenda. The only item we have on the consent agenda today is the minutes of the October 8th, 2025 District Board meeting. Again, a motion to approve. Thank you. Is there a second?
I second that.
Thank you. All those in favor say aye. Perfect. Thank you. Public comment. The Board of Trustees encourages general public comment to provide comments directly related to business. I'll look to Hunter. Do we have any comment? Great. Thank you. Moving along, we'll get right into our presentations from our guests and representatives to the board. First up, we have Kelly Jackson, our Executive Director of the Foundation, who will present Excellence at Ames.
Good afternoon, trustees, Dr. Bornstein, audience. It's my pleasure to be here. We're always excited to share out what our alumni are doing, where they are, and all the excellence that they are achieving post-Ames. Today, we are excited to introduce Ben Masharak. He's an Ames graduate who completed his degree in air traffic control systems in December 2024. Ben was named an outstanding aviation student and recently completed the FAA Academy training in Oklahoma City, finishing third in his class. So that's a huge win for Ben to be able to advance so quickly. Ben wasn't able to join us in person today, even though we've got some government shutdowns and whatnot. We hope he's still successfully working through all of that right now. He is currently an aircraft traffic controller at Payne Field in Everett, Washington. However, he's prepared a short video instead of joining us because those schedules are so goofy right now with the shutdown and overtime and everything else. So we look forward to hearing from Ben via the video. So please welcome Ben.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for having me today. I'm very honored and excited to be able to share my story with you all. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Ben. I graduated in the fall of 2024 with a degree in air traffic control systems, and I spent a lot of time in the UAS program. Took a lot of classes there. A little bit about me. I grew up in Canyon City, Colorado, and coming out of high school, I wanted to pursue a career in golf as a golf instructor. And so I went down that road for a couple of years, decided that I didn't like it as much as I thought I would, and started to take an interest in aviation. And I figured I didn't want to fly for a living. I didn't want to be a pilot. And so that's when I decided to take a career in air traffic control. And after doing some research on what that looks like and what that road is, I found out that the FAA Academy, which is really the only way to become a controller, is kind of like a one and done situation. So if you don't do well in any of the tests, or you fail out, there's really not a second chance. And so I knew I needed to get some background knowledge and get a good foundation because I had zero aviation experience, connection, anything like that. And so Ames was really great for me in the fact that all of my instructors were retired controllers. They knew how it works, they knew what the job was like, and so it was really awesome just to be able to just have conversations with them about what to expect and kind of what everything looks like. And it was also really great because the equipment and the facilities that we had at Ames were essentially mirror images, mirror copies of what they used at the academy. And so it was kind of one less thing that I had to adjust to and kind of learn while I was in like the high stakes environment and kind of where everything was on the line. And so the reason why I chose Ames was A, it was close to home. It's about 3 hours away from where I grew up. And B was the affordability. I was very pleasantly surprised to see that first bill for my tuition, and it wasn't something that I had to stress about, and it really allowed me to focus on my career, focus on my studies and what I need to be learning, and I was able to receive a couple of scholarships. I got the Ames Scholars Scholarship a number of times, and so that just kind of made it even more of a non-factor. So I could really, I didn't have to work, 40 hours a week while also attending class. So it's allowed me to focus on my studies, which was really, really huge. But I think what I enjoyed most about Ames was the community and kind of like how kind of like made me feel personally. I kind of walked in or whenever you walk in the door and it's, you didn't feel like a number or just another passing face. Like people knew your name, and in the drone program especially, we had a lot of fun, doing what we do in there and going out on Toyota commercials, gaining that that real world experience with the top of the line equipment was really, really fun. And I've made a couple of my closest friends through my time at Ames. And so that kind of like that, not necessarily like a small college feel, but like a little bit like that, to where it's not this big, flashy, over the top. It's welcoming, which is really, really great. It makes for a great learning experience all around. And so my time at Ames allowed me to not only be successful at the FAA Academy, but B start to become successful in my career as an air traffic controller. I am currently a trainee at Payne Field in Everett, Washington, which is about 20 miles north of Seattle. And so my time at Ames is was able to like jumpstart my career and kind of get me started down the right path for what I wanted to do. And so I can't imagine how hard the road would have been and how different it would have been if it hadn't have been for Ames. And so I'm very, very thankful for it, and I recommend it to people all the time. At least when I was back in Colorado, my dad is the high school teacher, and so I would tell him, like, if any students are looking at aviation or anything like that, like 100% check out Ames because it's a really great experience all around. And so yeah, that's my story. I hope it inspires people to you kind of know find out what you're interested in and just take a shot at it. That's kind of what I did, and you know, it was a great experience for me. So thank you for listening, and thank you for having me.
Kelly, thank you for bringing Ben forward and a great story. So thank you. Next up, we'll have our representatives to the board, and we'll start with Ames Faculty Association with Patrice Bergstaller.
Good afternoon, Board of Trustees, ladies and gentlemen. I just wanted to make a little announcement. Normally, there are two faculty reps to the Board of Trustees, and so we got another one. And so it's Nicholas Luna, and he's an instructor in the Windsor campus in the automotive service technology. And he said, I like to do all the computer stuff. Why don't you do the presentations? So we're working as a team, but I promise you I will get him here in the new year to present at least once, if not more. And so, yeah, there's kind of a little short list today. The anthropology department has been really busy. So you've read all this already, Board of Trustees, but I guess the anthropology people not only did they do a poster presentation, but they also went on to a convention. And there's just a slight little mistake here with Stephanie Work. She is a current violin teacher in the music. It says she taught, but she's teaching here on the Ames campus. So, I mean, the Greeley campus. And those lucky folks that are doing the study abroad, they got to go to Ireland in the end of September to do a little conference to get ready for the new program that's going to happen between the spring semester and the summer semester in 2026. So that was my short and sweet announcement. And any questions?
Any questions for Patrice?
No. Okay.
We actually just were talking to somebody at the event this morning of a daughter who is going on the first study abroad. And they're very excited to be able to have that here. So
yes, isn't it wonderful?
it is. Yeah.
Yeah, I think this year Ireland, next year Japan, I've been told.
Wow.
Isn't that fabulous?
Yeah.
It really is.
Thank you.
Yes.
Okay, next up, we have our Ames Staff Association with Paul Bashline.
Good afternoon, Chair Schock, Board of Trustees.
Thank you.
Okay. That's the voice in my head finally coming out. As we continue to gather under the theme Connecting Our Voices, we're reminded that every success we celebrate and every challenge we face become more meaningful when we approach it together, united by purpose, collaboration, and care. On November 14th, ASA will be excited to welcome Ross Perkins and Dale Campbell, who will be sharing updates about the innovative programs taking place on the Windsor campus. Their work exemplifies how connecting voices across departments, campuses, and communities help create new opportunities for our students and strengthens the fabric of Ames as a whole. Following our meeting, we'll have an opportunity to tour the Windsor campus, see the programs in action, and hear directly from the people who bring them to life each day. It's an opportunity to see how our shared commitment translates into tangible impact for students in the community. Looking ahead, our day of service at the Well County Food Bank on December 3rd is another way to connect our voices through service. Together, we'll make a tangible difference in families in need during the holiday season. There are 2 shifts available, 7:50 to noon and then noon to 4. Signing up is simple. Just send an email to asa@ames.edu and we'll send you another form to fill out. Our holiday celebration on December 16th is also coming together nicely. We are actually partnering with AFA to create one unified event, a joyful moment to celebrate the end of a successful year and to build momentum as we head into 2026. Several of our colleagues represented Ames at professional conferences. Miranda McFarland, Jana Nyberg, and Carolyn McKee attended the Coupa HR conference in Denver. Erin Ward attended International College Learning Center Association conference in Rapid City, South Dakota. Natalie Stevens participated in the 2025 PRSA Chapter Summit in Denver, and several others attended the National Alliance of Concurrent Enrollment Partnership Conference in Los Angeles. So at this time, we want to thank you for your leadership, for the many ways you continue to support our great full-time and part-time staff. And we all greatly appreciate it. So if you have any questions.
Thank you, Heidi.
Can I have the email for the sign up for the Weld County Food Bank?
Yes,
Okay.
it's asa@ames.edu.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions? Thanks, Paul.
Thank you.
Okay, next up, we have Jeff Thatch, our Student Government Association.
Just tilt it up. There we go. All right. Good afternoon, members of the board, Chair Schock, Dr. B, faculty, staff, and my fellow students. As of last week, I've officially stepped down as Student Government Association president to begin a new role as the pantry assistant with Artie's Pantry. Combating food insecurity has always been one of my biggest passions, and I found it here at Ames. I'm incredibly excited to continue serving students in this new way alongside Patty and her amazing team, helping to make sure every student has access to the resources they need to thrive. Serving as SGA president has been one of the greatest honors of my college journey. I've learned what it means to lead through care, collaboration, and community. And I'm deeply grateful for the trust and support this board has shown to SGA and to all of student life. Before I go, I want to take a moment to introduce your new SGA president, Brian Bernal. Many of you already know Brian. He's a familiar and friendly face around campus, and his passion for helping students shines through in every interaction. He brings energy, thoughtfulness, and a devotion to student success. He's one of those people who can make anybody feel welcome, and he's deeply committed to helping students find their place at Ames. So without further ado, I'm honored to pass the mic and the presidency to Brian. I know he'll continue to represent the student voice with heart and dedication. Thank you again for allowing me to serve.
Thank you, Jeff, for that introduction. Thank you, board, ladies and gentlemen, students. I'm just here today to introduce myself to you and my journey here. About a year and a half ago, I was up here talking to you as a student, finding my way back to college as a non-traditional student. Along the way, I found that one, I could actually do this. Not only could I do this, but I found community. Didn't think I could find that being a non-traditional student, being much older than most of my classmates. However, I found out that I'm learning just as much from those younger students as I am teaching them as well. So I am proud to be here today to be the new SGA president and represent those students that I have met, fought with, learned with, and been taught with. So thank you so much for having me, and I look forward to meeting all of you and working with all of you.
Thank you. Hey, Jeff, don't run off. I just want to say thank you. I think you've done a really nice job this year. And I remember your first meeting of that nervousness and kind of moving through, and I look at your growth and just your representation, your really professional presence. So thank you for all you've done and the information you brought forward.
Thank you.
Okay, next up, we have our action item of the 2026 Board and Trustee Meeting and Retreat dates. Jerry, our board liaison.
Thank you, Chair Schock. This item is to approve the Board of Trustees meeting and retreat dates for 2026. The proposed meeting dates remain on the second Wednesday of each month, except for in May to make room for commencement and for Celebration Week. The meeting's beginning at 1:30 p.m. And again, all of this, as a reminder, was reviewed during information item at the October 8th board meeting. Just to kind of briefly run through it again as well, attached in your packet is the draft that reflects that. We also have on this draft, January 14th is the January board retreat and June 9th and 10th as the summer board retreat. No meetings in July as normal. And then also listing here the satellite campuses and which month we'll be at those satellite campuses for meetings as well. So happy to answer any questions and yeah, any questions?
Any questions from the board? If not, I'll have a motion to approve.
And I will also note just before the motion that this was sent out to our two new trustees as well, asking whether or not they had any potential conflicts with this. I never heard anything back from either of them. So I'm taking that to mean that there were no potential issues with this proposed schedule as well. So
Great. Thank you for taking that step.
I so move to approve.
Okay,
Second.
thank you. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Great. Thank you. And next up, we have our event calendars and upcoming work session with Jerry again.
thank you, Chair Schock. We have the events calendar first in your packet. Listed there, the celebration week items for the fall commencement. So academic honors ceremony on December 5th in the afternoon. We have all trustees going to that. Thank you all for the RSVPs. Graduate dinner as well on the 5th that evening, 5 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. And then commencement on the 12th. And that will be at 3 p.m. here in the auditorium. As far as upcoming board meetings, December is a busy month for board meetings, as you can see there from your list, especially due to it being an odd number year. So we will have a recognition and celebration of our outgoing trustees, as well as a swearing in of our new trustees and re-elected trustee as well. So certainly a busy time, and at different points throughout the day, and I'll give you more information on this as we get closer. We'll be doing, again, new individual pictures and a new group picture for the website. So be prepared for that too.
Great. Thanks, Jerry. Any questions for Jerry? Okay, thank you. We had one piece of correspondence that came in, and it is from the Association of Community College Trustees. Ames Community College is a member in good standing. And so I think that's the only one we have this month. Next up is the ACCT conference debrief, and Heidi and myself and Dr. B were able to attend. And so I'm going to start with you, Heidi, if you want to do a little bit of overview in any information you want to bring forward on your experience or takeaways.
First off, I'd like to say thank you for letting me have the opportunity. There was quite a few sessions, and I went to many, and they've kind of overlapped. But I think a lot of it was on AI and how it's going to affect community colleges and our focus on learning. Some of the sessions I went to were about the ethics of AI, which is very interesting. There were other colleges just kind of starting to tap into AI. And it seems to me that Ames is way far advanced compared to many other colleges. So we're kind of on the right road. There was an interesting from the state of Wyoming. And all 9 colleges in the state, higher ed, sorry about that. With the higher ed in the state of Wyoming and the Wyoming Innovation Partnership, they had enough money where they were able to do virtual reality and have all the equipment for all these colleges. So they're doing something, nothing like Ames is going to do, but it's nice to know that our northern neighbors are also. I'm not tackling this. The other thing I was just going to touch upon is Marilyn can talk about more is Dr. B had us go to the Dreamscape conference, which is just amazing. And what we're about to do here at Ames, I think, is going to be really revolutionary. So, but once again, thank you for sending me.
Thanks, Heidi. I'll also echo, thank you for allowing us to attend it. It's a great conference. I mean, it just really is. I come away, probably the overarching message that I would say is Ames is pretty amazing and pretty far ahead at large when we talk about nationally with colleges and the innovative and the thought process of where we're headed. I think we've talked a little bit about it with this cabinet and kind of the community is it's skating to where the puck is going and not where it is today. And I think Ames continues to do that. When I listen to challenges for other colleges, it's evident that they have some of that, a little bit of stuck in the mud kind of piece with some of the things of how do you move forward? And I think those are some of the great things when we talk about the Ames model, both from a financial community and expertise that you all bring to the college and the community. And so I think for me, I've gone 3 times out of the last 4 years, and I will tell you what I come away with every time is, man, we are in good shape and we're lucky to be where we are, but it's also through hard work because I listen to some of the pieces that they bring forward and the hard work that comes that each one of you put in. I would echo Heidi's comments. There was a lot on AI and what's happening in academia with AI. What I walked away with is AI isn't going to take your job. If you're not embracing AI, it's going to take your job. And so I think those are some of the pieces as we go forward with our work. And I mean, I even think about Dreamscapes and what that's going to do. And I geek out a little bit on it because I have a neuro background in my OT. And so really thinking about how the integration around education and actual learning, I think this opens a door for an additional amazing tool, but it's going to take people too. And it's going to take all of your expertise as we roll that out. But it's fascinating to me of what Dreamscapes does bring. And so I'm really excited about having that model here. And then I think the third one is just really looking at retention around the colleges. And I went to a session, I actually popped into part of one in retention, and that's retention at our executive level with our CEO. And then when you think about retention within the ranks of faculty, staff, and students, and then that recruitment piece. And so just again, I think our practices, when I think about a lot of the work that Dee does from a HR perspective, and I could call everybody out with certain pieces, we have a great team that's really leading that forward. And again, what the conferences do for me is really confirm where we are and then help identify those little pieces that we can say, how are we going to get to that next level? So, but I think you're already doing that. So, Jerry, did you want to add? And then I'm going to go to Dr. B.
Sure. Thank you, Chair Schock. There is a track for board liaisons during this conference as well. So there's kind of a CEO track, a trustee track, and a board liaison track. And it gets more and more robust every year for the board liaisons, which is really appreciated for all of us. it's definitely a great opportunity for all of us to network with each other. The only time that we really get to see one another and talk and pick each other's brains and get some ideas for things we could be doing or whatever troubles we may be having in our own areas. Especially because the only way you know what this role is like is by doing it. So there aren't very many people across the country who know what this is like. So it's always a great time to go down there and get to chat with those folks. And I think my biggest takeaway has been similar to what has been mentioned before, that it's a good realization that we have a good thing going here at Ames, and that it's not by accident, but that we have a really good thing going, and we can keep doing that. So.
Thank you, Dr. Bornstein.
Well, I had the pleasure of serving on a panel with Campus Works at 8 a.m. on Friday morning. It wasn't a packed room, but the folks that were there were really interested and asked good questions. And the theme was about Campus Lens that we all have been working on. So like I said, the folks that were there were really interested. It sounds, they asked great questions. I've gotten a couple of follow-up questions from institutions that might be going down that same path. So fantastic work to everyone who's been the leading edge on Campus Lens at Ames. I wouldn't be surprised if you all, over the course of the next couple of years, get lots of phone calls on how we did it, why we did it, and what do you think of it? So thank you all for that. ACCT is a great opportunity for me to connect with fellow CEOs and presidents across the country. So I spent a lot of time eating and drinking over conversations for that week. What I'll say as the tone or the tenor from colleagues across the country is, this has been an incredibly emotional, busy, stressful year thus far, with the dismembering of the Department of Education, with Medicaid, with the DEI initiatives or lack thereof, and with funding challenges, the political divide. What do we do with AI, and trying to not just survive, but thrive? And folks are really tired. And that seems to be the theme. They haven't lost hope, which is great. And many of them are at the bottom of their barrel too, just because we never know what's coming next and there's no guidance. So I guess I echo what we've all said here, is that Ames is a very special place to be. We as colleagues are very special to support one another. We have fantastic students that support not only one another, but us as well, which gives us enthusiasm. So I'm sad for my colleagues, and I just am really thankful to be here. So that was my ACCT experience.
Thank you. And we had some amazing gumbo and jambalaya and crawfish, and yeah, the food down there is just amazing. So thank you for the overview. And again, thank you. It was a great experience. Next up, we'll have our CEO and President's report with Dr. Bornstein.
Okay, thank you. We have quite a number of reports today. We're going to start with Dee Scholes, the Vice President of Employee Services. This is the Employee Services Annual Report.
Good afternoon, trustees, Chair Schock and Dr. Bornstein. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to present the Employee Services Annual Report. The Employee Services Division is committed to providing comprehensive support across the college, focusing on the full life cycle of employment and community safety. We're here to ensure Ames remains a compliant, secure, and positive environment for all. I'd like to take this opportunity to introduce some of my leadership team who make all of this happen. So I'd like them to stand and then be acknowledged. Angie Summers, Executive Assistant. George Beliski, Assistant Vice President. John Foltz, Director of Campus Safety and Security. Janelle Wild, Director of Employee Services or Employee Relations. Jill Beck, Title IX Coordinator and Compliance Manager. and Sherry Adams, Program Director of Center for Professional Development. And I know I have a few other employee services team here, so if you could all stand as well. And those guys in the back too. Thank you all for the great work that you do. Our report summarizes the key achievements of the past year across human resources, which includes employee wellness and recognition programs, campus safety, professional development, employee relations, and compliance. Starting with page 2, we begin with employee data. The primary reason we track employee profile data and turnover is to measure institutional health and stability. These numbers serve as a vital barometer of our workplace environment, helping us inform our talent acquisition strategies. And as you know, high turnover represents significant costs in lost expertise, time spent recruiting, and training new employees. By tracking this data, we can proactively identify where and why employees are leaving, allowing us to mitigate risk and develop targeted strategies to stabilize the workforce and retain institutional knowledge. This data reflects a one-time snapshot, allowing us to compare from one year to the next. Last year's employee headcount was 1,334, and this year's headcount is up to 1,385. This shows an increase of 6 full-time positions and an increase of 45 part-time positions for this past year. And there are not significant changes with gender, age, tenure, and ethnicity numbers. Please keep in mind that these numbers are reflective of filled positions on a specific date in order to obtain the demographic data. As positions become vacant or filled, these numbers change. Our annual full-time employee turnover for the past year 24-25 period was 10.5%. While this is an increase from 7% last year, it remains significantly below industry benchmarks. The 2024 Coupa higher ed rate of 14% and the state of Colorado rate of 14.5%. Historically, our turnover has been consistent with fluctuations primarily driven by retirements. Our data indicate that the leading causes of departure are retirement, relocation, and pursuit of other career opportunities. We recognize that understanding employee motivation is key to our success. Periodically, we administer an employee engagement survey, a crucial tool that allows us to monitor and gauge the factors that influence job satisfaction, cultural connection, and ultimately retention here at Ames. We use the confidential data collected to identify areas where we are succeeding, such as support from direct supervisors, leadership training, benefits, and workplace balance, and work-life balance, and to strategically plan improvements in areas that need attention. We are scheduled to launch the next comprehensive survey early next year. On page 3, you have information on employee recruiting efforts and medical benefits offered. Recruiting talent remains a key focus for us. We are pleased to see encouraging trends in our external outreach efforts. Our current average applicant pool size for full-time recruitment is 21, which is a significant increase from 12 in 2024. Furthermore, this indicates that we're starting to recover from record lows of 8 and 7 applicants per position in the previous 2 years. In addition to external hiring, we prioritize internal talent development. As part of our re-recruiting efforts, we track how many of our vacant full-time positions are filled by current employees who want a career move but yet want to stay with Ames. This year, 45% of our vacant full-time positions were filled by current positions. So we're very excited about those numbers. This includes full-time employees changing positions, part-time employees moving into full-time positions, and hiring students into full-time positions. You have some medical data there. The majority of enrolled employees utilize the employee-only plan at 52%, which is 100% covered by the college as a benefit. A few highlights under our employee health and wellness programs on page 4. For the 5th time, Ames has been certified as a healthy workplace by HealthLink. So we're really proud of that designation. We hosted 17 in-house wellness events with over 600 employee participants and offered free flu shots for 230 employees and students. The HOPE initiative and the Talkspace programs continue to support employee mental health by providing periodic newsletters and access to dedicated licensed therapists via a secure app. Employees also take advantage of recognizing their fellow colleagues throughout the year through the various recognition programs, including the Ripples in Recognition program, which you get access to each month, and the Distinguished Colleague Award and the GEM program. Under professional development on page 5, we highlight the Ames Leadership Institute GROW. This year-long institute was specifically developed to meet the college-wide need for targeted leadership development. The program features a comprehensive curriculum spread across 6 modules, and critically, each participant works directly with a professional coach throughout the year. We reached a major milestone this year. In August, the first cohort proudly graduated, and we are excited to welcome the second cohort who have already begun their journey in the program. The success of the program is measurable based on final Leadership 360 assessment. For the first cohort, we saw significant improvements in core competencies. Authentic leadership ratings increased dramatically from 78% to a near perfect 93%. This demonstrates that our graduates are now consistently leading with the sincerity and transparency vital for building trust and engagement. Visionary leadership increased by 11%, meaning our leaders are better equipped to articulate a compelling future direction and inspire their teams. The participants should be very proud of their hard work and achievements. We are already seeing their positive impact on our culture, and a lot of them are here today, so congratulations. We also continue to provide ongoing professional development opportunities, which include in-house training events on various topics available to all employees. The Biz Library program saw over 5,000 self-directed launches in fiscal year 25, and we provided over 165,000 in tuition support for employees and their families. Moving along on page 6 highlights compliance management. Title IX is a federally mandated program that ensures our working and learning environment is free of sex discrimination and sexual harassment. To meet this obligation, the Title IX office partnered with Catharsis Productions to provide 3 separate mandatory trainings tailored to specific audiences. For student employees, Culture Matters. This training addresses both workplace harassment and includes a specific Title IX component, recognizing their dual role on campus. For employees, Report Equals Support. This program focuses on introducing a range of intervention strategies. It equips employees to safely and appropriately intervene or know when to seek assistance when witnessing or hearing about incidents of interpersonal violence, sexual misconduct, or sexual harassment in the workplace. For students, you got this. This training is designed specifically for community college students. While it covers the same fundamental content as programs at 4-year institutions, its scenarios and application of topics reflect a diverse age range and varied campus engagement typical of a 2-year college environment. We also manage compliance under other critical state and federal laws, such as Title VII and Title VI of the Civil Rights Act. on page 7 provides an overview of the services delivered by Campus Safety and Security, ensuring a safe, inclusive, and supportive environment by the numbers. The department handled a total of 1,273 incidents this past year. This increase in activity is a positive indicator reflecting greater safety and security visibility and stronger community reporting. Our top incident categories were property infrastructure at 404 incidents, and then non-criminal incidents at 341. Furthermore, the collaboration with external partners is essential to our comprehensive safety plan. We prioritize maintaining strong working relationships with key agencies such as Weld County Sheriff's Office, the Greeley Police Department, and the Weld County Health Department. These foundational relationships guarantee that our Ames community is well supported by emergency and specialized services whenever an external response is required. As noted on page 8, environmental health efforts play a vital role in ensuring a safe, functional environment through routine building assessments and proactive hazard identification. To support this, our dedicated building coordinators volunteer to participate in various training events and drills. They're instrumental in supporting employees, students, and visitors in their respective buildings during emergencies. Thanks to the collaborative efforts of Campus Safety and Security, Facilities and Operations, and Human Resources, we have seen significant results in safety outcomes. Injury claims have decreased by 29%, resulting in a 59% reduction in costs. The top causes of claims remain slips, trips, and falls, and strains and sprains. By actively reducing these types of injuries, employee services minimizes operational disruptions and decreases the college's financial and liability exposure. As we move into the winter months, we will continue to proactively encourage employees and students to exercise caution on walkways and parking lots to help mitigate the risks of slips, trips, and falls. So wear the right winter shoes, folks. In summary, on page 9, highlights our broad integrated strategy to sustain a positive and ethical campus culture. Page 9 outlines the additional efforts and initiatives that reinforce our commitment to creating a safe, healthy, and equitable environment free from discrimination and harassment. From conducting periodic pay equity studies, annual compensation reviews, to robust talent recruitment programs, Employee Services ensures we are not only compliant with all federal and state laws, but are also actively mitigating institutional risk while strategically investing in our people. The totality of these initiatives, supported by you, ensures Ames is positioned as an employer of choice, able to attract and retain the talent needed to fulfill the college's mission. Thank you very much for your ongoing support. And that's the end of my report.
Any questions or comments from the board? Nice job, Dee. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dee. Next part of the president's report is our annual Clery report. John Foltz, Director of Campus Safety and Security.
Good afternoon, trustees, Chair Schock, Dr. B. Cabinet, if you heard that. So it's an honor to be in front of you guys to present the report. It's a way of we kind of look at it as gloating for on the campus safety and security team and what we've been able to accomplish. Dee touched on a little bit of it, but I'll go into depth on some of the report. So real quick, just a quick overview of what the Clery report entails. Clery report was enacted after 1986. A student that was attending Lehigh University was brutally murdered in her dorm room. This information was not transparent, so as other families started to enroll students on there, it was not available to them. So it was federally mandated that all schools are reporting a certain amount of crimes, which I'll get into detail further down in the presentation on crimes that happen on college campuses. So there's a transparency before students and families that want to enroll their students at education at your institution. It also entails us keeping a daily crime log, which is kept to our Assistant Director, Les Weimers, on any time that anybody wanted to walk into the Campus Safety and Security Office. We would be able to display crimes that have happened on the campus or things that have been reported to us, whether directly through us or through our SRO, Deputy Agnew, through the Sheriff's Department. It also tracks our timely warnings and emergency notifications. And this report is put out every year by October the 1st. So you probably got a notification through your email that the report was available with the link. So these are the 4 categories that we are responsible for reporting on, which is criminal offenses, VAWA offenses, which stands for Violence Against Women's Act, our hate crimes, and arrest and disciplinary referrals. I'll get into those a little bit more as well. So in 2013, under President Obama, the VAWA Act and Campus Safe provision was installed. So that kind of entails over our domestic violence, dating violence, sexual assault, a lot of the crimes that fall under our Title IX coordinator, Jill Beck. So I work very closely with her to make sure we are tracking and reporting and getting all those situations dealt with, and we're able to report them on our Clery. Here's a list of the crimes that were mandated, the core crimes. As you can see, anywhere from murder and manslaughter all the way down to arson, that we have to report. These are on our report. And for VAWA, this is our dating violence, domestic violence, sexual assault, and stalking. And these definitions are by the Colorado law. So we have to go by the definitions that are established by the state of Colorado. Each state has their different definitions, but this is what a standard that we're held to. Hate crimes. This is one that has actually been picking up on college campuses, as you know, with some of the political unrest that was going on, and some of the things with Palestine and the stuff going on in the world. That colleges are required to report, whether it's going on, if it's going on campus, whether it's employees or students. So it works really good to be under employee services and directly report to D or work with Janelle on employee relations if something is being reported to her from a Title VI perspective. Also reporting arrest and disciplinary referrals. And then I'll get into a little bit more of some of these crimes that you see up here as well. Here's our Clery, what we call a Clery geography. On campus, pretty self-explanatory, any of our campuses, and this is for all campuses, college-wide. If one of those crimes can happen on our campus, that's where the status reported at. Non-campus buildings are property. This would include like our ECA, Early College Academy, and then I work very closely with the Clery compliance officer from UNC for our AMC UNC program. So if a student gets in trouble on our campus, but is in that program, we both are required to report that statistic. And then our public property, I don't know where this definition came from, but per Clery, I had to pull statistics from Greeley PD because we are required to report anything that happens from our Clery geography is sidewalk, street, sidewalk. So as long as it doesn't happen, if it happens at 7-Eleven, I don't have to report it. But if it happens on the sidewalk by 7-Eleven, I got to report it. As Dee had reported to you, we had a pretty significant increase of 1,273 total responses. But I will say that's not because there was more people causing problems or being in trouble. We were just very more attentive to reporting and making and filing reports on things that our patrol specialists and our guys and girls were doing as they're patrolling the campus. So we were able to capture all that information on there. As you can see, 117% increase on non-criminal. A lot of it was property infrastructure, whether it's something got broke or somebody tagging something or somebody breaking something, being able to report that and getting a ticket over to the facilities and operations team. And as you can see, as we continue to grow and put up more buildings, as long as we don't put up any college dorms, I think we can, we'll be all right with our numbers, but you can see that there is an increase. But it does bring more students to campus, and that's all right. We have been very proactive in taking measures to keep up with that, but just like to show you that. So once again, just some of the interventions we do of training and working with our student affairs, the SGA on some of the programs that they offer to students. That's a requirement from Cleary as well. So we pull the information from them when they do their free luncheons and bring speakers in on trafficking or, you know, sexual violence and things like that. Those are required by Cleary as well. So we get those from Alyssa or Janet Chase and her team from the Student Affairs to make sure we are educating our students on that. And also, as well as I think our CPD team and through Human Resources offers a lot of trainings for employees as well. Those are proactive measures that we're putting in place to educate our students and our employees on how to address or to deal with things as they arise across the campus. And as we go in here, I'll just show you, I'm always proud to show this with the zeros on there. I mean, I know it's not like that every year, but it just shows the hard work of the team back there and those that are out right now on campus and what they do on there. So you can see a lot of zeros, so there's nothing to report. And just to remind you, for Cleary, it goes from January the 1st to December the 31st. So these are all the crimes that happened in 2024. And we have to report 3 years. So next year in 2026, I'll be reporting 2025 crimes. And once again, just a lot of zeros. The one I will pinpoint here, because I know I pointed it last year, we were pretty high on our drug violations because we had a kind of not a crisis, but we kind of had an issue with our high school students at early college vaping in the bathroom. I worked with Wade Corliss, who's a security director for District 6, and we installed some sensors in the bathrooms, and you can see that number dropped drastically. So we're down to 2, and we'll hope to have that back down to 0 soon. But I wouldn't say they stopped vaping, but they just stopped vaping in the bathroom. So. So those are our numbers. Like I said, we're very proud to kind of gloat and show those to you guys. And I want to say thank you to the cabinet and you as the board for all the proactive support that you guys allow for us to put these measures in place to keep these numbers these numbers pretty low and keep the campus safe. Is there any questions anybody has?
Any questions or comments?
Well, number one, thank you for all the work that you and your team do. You're very, you're prevalent at all the community events that I see. And so I think anybody that comes here for an event, they know that I think 2 things. One is they see you're visible, but the other is you're approachable. Your team is very approachable. So, but I don't know why this came to my mind. Where does disaster preparedness fit? Is it under your?
Yes, it is.
Okay. I don't know why I thought of that, but it was like, wonder where that sits.
And actually what we do is our safety coordinator, Eric Larson back there, we have what we call HVA, which stands for Hazard Vulnerability Assessment that we do. And actually what we do is we sit down, we have a formula that we put in numbers based off of the likelihood of these things that happen on our campus and everything. And so for instance, one of them is political violence. Well, so with last year with the elections, that raised it quite a bit. This year when we did, and we do that on a quarterly basis, and that's how we proactively plan out on what trainings, on what we put in the Ames daily, the things and measures that we take across campus. I was able to do tea with Dr. B this year. I mean, not this year, just this month. And I was recently on there. Hopefully you guys watched it. But in that, it was a proactive way for us to kind of communicate with our employees on what's the expectation on how we approach cancellations or going remote and how we make those calls. So we use that hazard vulnerability assessment for that. And actually this year, I'll kind of brag on it because when we did it this year and we plugged it in, our highest risk for this quarter was power outage. And we had a power outage on a Saturday and it hit. And, you know, we were pretty much on it. We worked for Mike Millsaps and his team, and we handled it. And it happened on a Saturday. I was in communication with Dr. B and D and everybody, and we were dealing with that. We were able to get that done. So a lot of times it gets us ahead of the game by doing that.
Great, thank you.
And I also sit on the citywide emergency management team with the city of Greeley and Weld County. So I get notifications and I'm in direct communication with them at all times.
Thank you.
Anything else? Thanks, John.
Thank you,
guys
John.
do great work.
Thank
Next, we have our annual report for Ames to UNC and Dr. Larry Pekowski, Vice President of Student Affairs. And team.
Thank you.
It's a group presentation. Chair Schock, trustees, Dr. B, cabinet, and guests, we are excited to bring you our annual update about the Ames to UNC program. Really one of the shining star examples of not only a program at Ames, but a cross-institutional partnership, to the degree that we have an annual meeting that features Dr. B, myself, Rachel, Dana, and all of our counterparts on the UNC side to check in on the strength of the program and make sure that we're focusing on the continued excellence that it offers. I am joined here at the podium today by Rachel Veretto, who is our Executive Director of Student Success, as well as Dana Kohler, who is our Assistant Vice President for Enrollment Management and Student Affairs. We're excited to share with you how the Ames to UNC partnership continues to evolve and to deliver strong outcomes for our students participating in the program. Our focus today is going to be less about reviewing the data and more about showing you what that data represents. Real students that successfully navigate a very clearly defined and supported path from Ames to UNC. So I'll turn things over to Rachel.
There's the box right there. Give this a practice. Okay. Hello. Since the program began in fall of 2019, we've had more than 1,500 students apply and over 1,000 students admitted. What's notable here is the consistency. Year after year, students are drawn to this pathway, and they're choosing majors that align directly with UNC's anchor programs like education, business, and psychology. That alignment tells us that the partnership is resonating with our students and with the workforce needs in our region. We're not just growing in numbers, but we're growing in the right direction. We continue to see steady, healthy growth in new participants each year. Last year alone, we saw a 13% increase in new students joining the program. And that's not just a one-year spike, as you can see. It's part of an upward trend that we've seen since 2019. This tells us that students are hearing about Ames to UNC earlier, seeing its value, and choosing it as a clear pathway to a four-year degree. Our program's demographics reflect the diversity of our community and the students that we are all here to serve. Over half of our Ames to UNC participants identify as underrepresented minorities, and about 2/3 of them as first-generation college students. That's significant. It shows that the partnership is reaching the very populations both Ames and UNC are committed to supporting as Hispanic and first-generation serving institutions. When we look at the performance at Ames, the numbers tell a strong and steady story. Nearly 9 out of 10 Ames to UNC students return for their second term, and 7 out of 10 continue to their second year. For context, the most recent IPEDS fall enrollment survey shows that about 63% of new full-time degree-seeking students that started at Ames in fall of 23 returned in fall of 24. Our Ames to UNC students are persisting at noticeably higher rates, and that difference has held stable over time. It really highlights the value of intentional connection early in a student's journey. When they have a clear path and consistent support, they're more likely to stay on track and keep going.
This slide breaks down student success outcomes by cohort year and shows that these students are maintaining high levels of academic performance over time. Their average GPA remains steady at nearly a 3.2, which is impressive for a population that is balancing not only school, but work and family responsibilities. This GPA also keeps students eligible for UNC's $2,000 transfer scholarship. So it's more than just an academic marker, it's a real financial impact. It has a real financial impact. Their average credit load hovers around 10 credits per term, which reflects thoughtful pacing. They're taking enough credits to make steady progress while maintaining the balance that they need to persist to completion. And when we look at retention in a more current context, particularly post-COVID, we continue to see that Ames to UNC students are outperforming the college overall. In the 3 most recent cohorts post-COVID, we can see here that these students are retained at 9 to 12 percentage points higher than the overall college average. That includes our underrepresented minority and first-generation college students. This reinforces how effective this program's wraparound supports really are. Those structures, consistent advising, early academic planning, and the accountability that is built into this program mirror what we know work in high impact student success models like TRIO, which this program was modeled after. And that same commitment to persistence and support extends into how we help students finance their education. One of the most tangible examples of that support is our Ames to UNC scholarship. Since the program began, 412 participants have been awarded more than $348,000 in institutionally funded scholarships. These scholarships are available each semester to students who have completed at least 12 credits at Ames. They continue to maintain that 3.2 GPA, stay connected with their success coach, and participate in engagement activities. This is a meaningful way to reward progress, keep momentum, and reinforce the behaviors that we know lead to long-term success. We're going to turn it over to Dana. She's going to walk us through what happens next and how that momentum carries forward to completion at Ames and through transition to UNC.
Thanks, Rachel. Oh, can you all hear me? Okay, there we go. Thanks, Rachel. And that's exactly what we see here, the impact in motion as students move through transitioning to UNC. To date, 441 participants have earned 524 credentials at Ames. 347 students have transitioned to UNC and 130 have already graduated with their bachelor's degree. Perhaps my favorite statistic on this slide is that we're even seeing graduate level momentum. 12 students have gone on to master's programs who have gone through the Ames to UNC program. This slide really captures the full pathway we envisioned when this program began 6 years ago. From Ames to UNC and on to advanced degrees, this is the lifelong impact we hoped to make for students in Northern Colorado. This fall marked our largest group of students transitioning to UNC so far. 92 students moved from Ames to UNC this fall. We anticipate another 20 students to transition this spring, and that will bring us to about 51% increase in transitions over last year. That steady growth shows the partnership is doing what it was designed to do, helping students start here at Ames, finish strong at UNC. It's giving students and their families the ability to save money from the partnership, and we all win with higher credential completion. When students arrive at UNC, the success continues. They persist at 83%, and 97% of graduates complete their bachelor's degree within only 6 semesters. This is compared to 84% of non-Ames to UNC transfer students. That tells us that the preparation and momentum they build at Ames carries after their transition. We're also seeing these students emerge as highly competitive applicants for merit-based scholarships. In addition to the over $300,000 that Rachel mentioned, since 2020, 29 Ames to UNC participants have been accepted into UNC's Reicher Scholarship Program, earning scholarships of up to $22,000 a year. That's huge. So the impact of this partnership extends just beyond access. It's truly changing students' financial and educational trajectories. And with that, I'll turn it over to Larry to wrap us up.
Thank you, Dana. So what you've just heard really captures why this partnership continues to stand out. It's collaborative, it's data informed, and it's delivering real outcomes for our students. Looking ahead, our priorities reflect the direction that have been set by both Dr. B and Dr. Feinstein and our steering committee. We'll continue to grow participation and the number of students transitioning to UNC, strengthen seamlessness across our institutions and systems, and shared data to help guide our decisions. We're especially focused on our shared commitment to both first generation and Latinx students who mirror the communities that we both serve. Together, Ames and UNC are creating a seamless, affordable, and sustainable pathway that not only strengthens student success, reflects our shared community, but it also builds a statewide model for community to university transfer and transition. To close, we wanted to share with you a short video that encapsulates the voices of several of our Ames to UNC participants, past and present, because they represent every point along this journey from Ames to UNC to now graduate school.
I first heard about UNC from my very first meeting with the success coach here on campus. Having a pathway to UNC already set up relieves a ton of stress.
So when the program opened up and I was introduced to the coordinators, they were so amazing, so helpful, so insightful. Being able to build a community and a connection within the campus of Ames and then within the campus of UNC, I really found that to be a very grounding experience in opening my eyes to what education has to offer and how it can help me grow both personally and professionally.
It literally took all of the confusion, all of the what do I do? As a first generation student, I didn't have any form of guidance, but Ames to UNC, definitely the counselor from there, he definitely helped me and left no questions unanswered.
The program is great, honestly. The amount of support and encouragement that you get, the engagement activities are excellent. Meeting people that you interact with on campus on a regular basis kind of helps make you more comfortable in your classes and on campus in general.
And looking back at how Ames to UNC has made a difference and an impact in my college experience, it really helped to bridge the experience of the community college to a university, a traditional university setting. It was very supportive in an intentional way. And I really appreciate that they were looking out for me as a non-traditional student.
It gave me the confidence to say that I can do this. I'm not alone. Going from a big Ames to a bigger UNC, it was scary. But with the guidance, they showed us where everything was at. They took us to every department you can imagine. The fear went away.
I hope to finish my Associate of Arts here at Ames and then transition to UNC and finish a Bachelor of Arts in Sociology. Pretty well on the way to achieving that, thanks in large part to Ames UNC.
Getting my associate's degree from Ames really opened the door and got my foot in the door. But having my bachelor's degree has just opened up so many more opportunities. And the fact that I am now pursuing my master's degree at UNC is just something I never thought would be possible and is beyond my wildest dreams.
Certainly, it's powerful for us to hear directly from our students, but we also thank you all as our board for your continued support of Ames to UNC and we're proud of what this partnership represents for Northern Colorado as a whole. And before I stand for questions, I would like to acknowledge Ames to UNC is a true partnership between two institutions. It's not just one office here at Ames either, but many different people across not only student affairs, but the entire college. But I do want to call out three people in particular who are in the Ames to UNC group. So we have our two student success coaches, Andrew Smith and Seda Quist. If they could stand up and wave, please. As well as our Director of Transition Programs, Caitlin Cox. And these three really and truly are the heart and soul of the Ames to UNC program at Ames Community College. So thank you all. And at that point, I will stand for questions.
Any questions or comments? Janine?
Yeah, so the numbers are very impressive, but do you know the primary reasons why applied to eligible to accepted?
Yep.
Yeah, that I was just curious. I was going,
So we do, so there are some criteria to be accepted to the program. So there is a little bit of gap between the students that apply and those that are actually truly eligible for the program. It's not that they don't get great advising to transition to UNC. It's just they don't meet the full criteria for the Ames to UNC program. And then we do also have a number of students that do apply and for whatever reason choose not to accept that offer to join the program. But we're constantly looking at ways to not only refine the criteria, but also to seek out more eligible students. I think that's reflected on the back end with how many students we're transitioning, but
so that applied to eligible will be academic.
Could be academic. It could be for some reason if the student didn't have enough credits yet to apply to the program. One of the other criteria is they have to have at least 2 semesters left. So if they're in their last semester, they're not eligible. So
okay, great. Thank you.
Any other questions, Jean?
Is there any one area of pursuit that attracts the Ames to UNC students?
I would say our most popular majors, and Rachel or team, correct me if I'm going off the rails here. Education, psychology, business, kind of the things that are core to what UNC is are oftentimes our most popular programs that the students here are identifying. But certainly there's a whole list of different programs that a student could participate in the program, but I'd say those are probably our big 3.
Okay, thank you.
Chris?
Mine is just a comment. I was working in admissions at UNC back in 2008. Dana was there as well. And back then there was something called the STEP program, which was a program between Ames and UNC as well. And I have to say that the intentionality that I see in this program is much different than what we saw back then, to showcase leadership investment, full-time staffing, and then really that intentionality around the majors, education, business, psychology, right? Like those top programs that students can really lean into and find success at, I think is just, it showcases the intentionality behind the program. And I just want to commend you on that. Bravo.
Thank you.
Heidi?
Thank you for sharing with us all the information. The question I had, you said average 10 credit hours they're taking. How many semesters does it take them to finish then? And then secondly, I just want to say thank you for doing this transition program. I think it helps so many students.
So I think, and we can certainly get you the number. Historically, it's taken about 5.2 semesters. So it's, if a student were full-time, we might expect it to be 4. So it's slightly longer. But to Rachel's point, we'd always support any student taking the credit load they need to be successful to keep going and persist. So it's not too far from full-time. That would be about 12 credits a semester.
Any other comments or questions? Thanks for all your work.
Thank you all.
Nice job. Thank you.
Next, we have optimum enrollment plan update with Dr. Ayler, Vice President of Academic Affairs, and Hunter Wilson, Assistant Vice President of Marketing Communication. This is a continuation of the academic plan and information you got last month. And this hopefully will help put some more context around our process and where we're hoping to be shortly.
Thank you, Dr. Bornstein, Chair Schock, board members, cabinet, and guests. I wanted to start by giving a little context for the presentation today. We present to you in October and April the new program viability and feasibility process, where we look at programs that we want to start up and bring in. Once we have programs on board and we're offering them, then annually we do a program review process where we look at how strong are the programs, how healthy are the programs, what else do we need to do with the programs. And one aspect of that is marketing and communication to bring in new students. And there are a lot of factors that go into how do we know where to put the marketing emphasis, what the priorities should be, and so on. And so from the academic affairs lens, we're looking at how do we set the priorities for enrollment and marketing and optimizing the offerings that we're making. And from the marketing communications aspect, they're looking at where do they want to put their resources in terms of dollars and workload to do the most effective marketing. And so this project is a collaboration that's been going on for about a year or so. And Hunter will come up and describe how Marcom goes about doing this analysis on their end. So, Hunter.
Thank you, Dr. Ayler. So the Optimum Enrollment Initiative represents a step up in our approach to program marketing. It's the next step that builds on our continuing plans and strong marketing base toward data-driven program-specific strategies designed to support both enrollment growth and program viability. We're getting more focused and more intentional about how we market what we offer. We're zeroing in on the programs that either need a boost or have strong growth potential while still maintaining the comprehensive marketing we are currently doing for all programs. To get there, we're partnered closely with our academic leaders, not just to collect data, but to collaborate on strategy. Together, we're building marketing plans that reflect the realities of each identified program, the people, the goals, and the challenges. To keep this project focused and achievable, we're going to begin with a pilot group, about 8 to 10 programs, identified in collaboration with Andrea DeCosmo, Associate Vice President of Academic Affairs. These include a mix of high-demand programs, emerging programs with growth potential, and areas that need extra marketing support, along with a few that have unique application or admission processes that we can learn from. So as Dr. Ayler was explaining, we're aligning this process with the program review rollout milestones that currently exist. So in October, deans review and approve the program data. In November, vice president level reports are generated. And by December, we'll have full program summaries completed and ready to act on. A few exciting notes that help support this initiative for us. We've been up here before talking a lot about Element 451, which is our new CRM. This tool is really critical in helping us be successful in this plan. We're also developing this as a templated-based approach. So once we get through these initial test programs, we'll be able to scale this at a much larger capacity. So the initiative is more than just a marketing project. It's a big step forward in how AIMS connects with students, supports programs, and plans for growth. We're not just telling people that we're offering great programs, we're showing why each one matters, who it's for, backed by data, collaboration, and strategy. So with all that said, I'd like to introduce Kelly Agnew, the Director of Marketing and Web, to talk through the specifics of the data that we're collecting and how we're going to turn this project into reality.
Thank you. Good afternoon. Okay, let's make sure
I know how this works. Okay, so what we have developed to help guide us through this process is a giant spreadsheet. This spreadsheet was developed in collaboration with a lot of key faculty partners across Ames. So we didn't come up with this in a vacuum, but like Hunter and Dr. Ayler both mentioned, we wanted to make sure that this aligns with processes that our academic programs are already following. So we've developed a consistent data-informed framework using 15 key metrics to determine each program's optimum enrollment. So what's going to be the right size and scope for sustainable growth and impact. These metrics are aligned with that existing process to help us ensure that marketing strategies are grounded in the same data-driven insights and institutional priorities, guiding program quality, sustainability, and resource planning. So I'm going to briefly walk you through each of these metrics and how they're going to contribute to our evaluation. So we're going to start by looking at whether the program is a competitive price. So we know Ames is known for affordability overall, but we want to compare that on a program level to other potential programs that a prospective student might be looking at. So for example, in aviation, understanding how our pricing stacks up to other comparable schools helps us to know whether we're competitive, and analyzing the price is going to be informed by program review and creation documents and finalized through team discussion. Understanding the size of the target audience and ranking the target audience of prospective students on a high, medium, low scale. So using search traffic data, labor market insights, things like that, as well as information from program documentation and some of those things that go into program creation. We're going to kind of categorize programs. So a program with high audience potential might have 1,000 or more monthly searches happening, and over 500 annual job openings regionally. A medium potential program might have 200 to 900 regional searches and 100 to 500 annual job openings, and a low potential target audience program would have around fewer than 200 searches and under 100 annual job openings regionally. So understanding this will really help us narrow into how large is the prospective student pool for each program. And then on the flip side of that, we want to look at industry demand. So not only is there a large audience of potential students to enroll in the program, but is it something that is wanted by industry, by employers regionally? So looking at job availability, salary data, hiring trends, those are all key indicators of the external value of a program. So that's also going to be drawn from labor data as well as just program review and program creation documentation. This is not really a hard metric, but whether a program has a program coordinator on staff at Ames, and that just helps us to understand what level of support does the program have and what type of communication capacity. So as we start to look at potentially scaling up communication and marketing in these programs, understanding how that program coordinator is going to impact that student experience. And then the next few metrics are about understanding the program pipeline and really our student journey. So starting with inquiries, how many students are requesting information for a specific program, moving on to applications, how many students are actually applying into a given program. Admissions, so out of students who applied, how many were admitted to that program. New enrollments, so how many students actually showed up for classes and registered for that term. And then total enrollments would include the comprehensive look at all enrollments of continuing as well as new students in that program. So looking at that funnel kind of as a whole with each step in the process helps us to understand how effectively we're building awareness for the program, how much interest is there, and are those prospective students actually following through? How effective are we there at driving someone from inquiry all the way through to enrollment? Understanding program capacity. So I think you all probably hear about this. Some of our programs have limited capacity due to clinical site placements, due to facility space, due to instructor availability. And so we want to understand what kind of experience we're marketing our students into and understanding where the program sits on its current capacity level. Is it full? Does it have room to grow? And what do those capacity numbers really mean? So understanding the maximum program capacity by term for each program. Understanding whether the program actually wants to grow. We recognize that through this process, there are other factors that might not be captured just in the data. So a conversation with the faculty, the deans, around each program and understanding that maybe on paper, it looks like this program could grow, but maybe there's other factors that we're not considering. So making sure that that's a conversation that we're taking that into account. So then through all of that analysis, kind of looking across all those metrics to identify what that optimum enrollment number looks like by program for the current term. So that would be the ideal number of students a program should have to both meet demand and operate efficiently. And then through all of that, our goal is to determine a level of marketing effort that we're going to put to each program. And we've ranked this on a red, yellow, green scale. Red being, we shouldn't market this program, there's something wrong. We don't expect a lot of programs to be in red, but that's something that we want to be able to account for. Yellow would be this program's at a maintenance level, keep doing what we're doing. All of our programs across the college get a baseline level of marketing that we do consistently. So yellow program, we would maintain that. And then green program, this program has room to grow, opportunity to increase enrollment, opportunities for a more tailored marketing strategy around the specific needs that we've identified. And then, of course, any other notes or things that we want to capture about special programs, we want to make sure that's documented there as well. So in summary, this evaluation process provides a comprehensive evidence-based way to identify where marketing can make the most impact and helps us to align institutional priorities, program capacity, and market demand to support sustainable enrollment growth and really align with optimum enrollment. So thank you. And I'll hand it back over to Dr. Ehler to wrap it up.
So that's the system that we're working on. Of course, we also, I want to emphasize, through the program review process, we have administrative input into what the priorities are and where we want to grow and so on. A couple of examples, our welding program is high demand, lots of people interested, but there's a 2-year wait list. So we don't want to market that excessively because we don't want a 3-year wait list. We want to keep awareness of the program, but get people through it before we would elevate the activity in marketing. Similarly, radiation technology, we have 3 or 4 times as many people apply as can be accepted into it. So we would want to direct marketing efforts into programs that have more immediate capacity, so that we can be effective in how we're using resources for the college. So thank you. Any questions?
Any questions, Chris?
Dr. Ehler, this ties to your last comment here. If a student was to apply for radiation technology, knowing that there's a long wait list, are other programs in like allied health marketed to that student as options to enter? And then hopefully, right, like I saw surgical tech was one of the green, right? Like, are there options for them to not lose that student or, lose their potential for enrolling in college because the program that they're interested in isn't available, but still guide them into a program that may help them find success?
Great question. Thank you. Last year, as the last part of the program review, I meet with all the departments in the spring and go over the results of their program review. And we started having those conversations in allied health of, do we have a list of, for people in rad tech, for example, if you don't get in, what other programs might you be qualified for and be able to move right into? And so we're putting those kinds of things together, and we'll be making those available to students so that they can move right into something else and continue.
Heidi?
I just have a comment. I'm just kind of blown away. 15 criteria per programs. I mean, that's impressive. that you're putting all of this together. It's a huge metric system and there's a lot that goes into that. And I really appreciate you doing all the work and the fact that you still will reach out to faculty or program just in case the metrics aren't showing what you think they need to be showing. I appreciate you going all the way in doing this whole evaluation. So thank you.
Well, thank you. And Zach McFarland is the one who brought this model forward and is leading the efforts in marketing communication. It's they're for this piece of the puzzle, they're doing the bulk of the design and the work, and then we're feeding the data into that system.
Gene?
I just wanted to comment also on the level of professionalism that you follow. Yes, you may get a design from some other program, but how you work with that design and the thoroughness with which you make these decisions is very impressive.
Thank you. And I appreciate the efforts in Marcom that we're piloting it with a few programs to see how it works and refine it so that as we roll it out and scale it up, we know that it's going to work.
Nice job. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hunter, did you have anything with regard to talking points for the board for this month from Zach, from you and Zach?
There are no new board talking point updates at this moment, but
Okay.
we will add them as needed.
Okay, so use the same ones that they were given last month.
Yes, please. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Hunter. Okay, Chuck Jensen, Vice President of Administrative Services, is going to do a very quick update on the new building projects.
Thank you, Chair Schock, members of the board, Dr. Bornstein. Real quick, yes, as I also discussed in our budget assumptions, the 3 facility plan projects continue to be within the construction cost budget that we had set a couple years ago. And so Mike and his team have done an excellent job of working with the architects and engineering as we designed those buildings to shape the buildings and size the buildings accordingly to keep within that approved budget. So we're feeling very comfortable about that. A couple of quick little highlights on some of the buildings just for fun. On the AWIC, we're going to start seeing concrete being poured for the work bays and the main area. So you'll start to be able to see the footprint of that building. That'll be very exciting. Again, with student health, and we topped out the beam today. That was a fun project. And then they're going to start pouring concrete on the decks here next week. So that building's really going to start taking shape. And then the exterior metal studs are going to come up. So that's going to be happening very quickly. And then with the A&P hangar, it's 90% complete, and we will be ready for classes spring of 2026. So very exciting in that. And I forgot to also mention that at the AWIC building, as we talked about at the assumptions, they'll begin to drill the geothermal wells in January. Fun time of the year to start drilling, but that's the way the project goes. So that's a real quick update, and we'll continue to keep the board updated as we progress through the facility plan over the next 18 months. Any questions? Thank you.
Thank you, Chuck. Now is the time we want to recognize new employees. So any supervisors who have new employees that you would like to introduce, if you could line up by the flags. Okay. Chuck, you're up.
I'm very happy to introduce Amy Deitch. She is the executive assistant to the vice president, which is me, in my office. And so Amy comes to us with a number of years of experience, executive administrative assistant experience in both the corporate and the financial industry. So welcome, Amy, to Ames.
I don't see anyone else moving. So thank you. That concludes the president's report for November of 2025.
Thank you. We're reaching the end of the meeting, and we always take a moment for self-assessment because we value accountability. Do any of you have any comments or takeaways or things that could be improved?
Another impressive board meeting, and impressed with the information provided. It's a ton of information, but it's delivered in such a way that you can grasp it and get a very good idea of the progress and the things that we're doing at this institution. Good job.
I'll just note on the administrative, I think sometimes we think about what's out front of us with everything with the school. But administratively and the important things that get done behind the scenes, Dee and John and security and everything. I mean, both from a regulatory compliance piece of reporting and making sure we're in that, but really living those values to make sure that we have the compliance within the institution. And so those things don't come forward a lot, but I know when the presentations come out, I'm always impressed by them. So thank you. Anything else? Okay. We need a motion to adjourn. I'm getting ahead of
Move to
myself.
adjourn.
Oh,
Second.
great. All those in favor? Adjourned. Thank you.